There has been media reports suggesting that Ayman al-Zawahiri has been killed in a CIA drone strike in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul, and this had taken place on Sunday. We're joined by Arshad Yusufzai, who is a political analyst. Arshad, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We appreciate your time. Shukran jazilan for joining us. Arshad, what can you tell us about the details relating to this claim that is being put forth by the media that Ayman al-Zawahiri has been killed in a CIA drone strike?
Yes, just like you mentioned, the news started to emerge yesterday on Monday, but this attack had happened early on Sunday in Kabul. Excuse me. It happened on Sunday in Kabul in the early hours, and it is believed that two blasts were heard in the wee hours in the early morning in a locality called Wazir Akbar Khan. This is sort of a posh area in Kabul, and the area that was targeted is in close proximity to the UK embassy, and the US embassy is at some distance, but this is where this incident has taken place. Initially, there was no confirmation and there was no news about who was the target. And the Afghan Taliban, the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, had earlier said that this was not in the news, but they had earlier said that this was a rocket attack on an empty house in Kabul. But later, their spokesperson told media that a drone attack had taken place, and it was the violation of the Afghan airspace, as well as the violation of one of the important points of Doha agreement that no such activities would take place in Afghanistan, and there is no agreement between the U.S. and the Afghan Taliban for any such activities. So this is what happened on Sunday. But last night, the US President Joe Biden tweeted about this incident, and he confirmed that Dr. Ayman al-Zawahiri, the chief of Al-Qaeda, was targeted in this attack. And after that, reports and information started to come in from different sources and different news channels across the world. Our understanding is that Dr. Zawahiri was targeted in this attack, and his family was there as well.
What do we know about his role in Al-Qaeda in recent months and years?
Yeah, I believe, this might be something not acceptable to the world, but I believe that Dr. Zawahiri in the past few years was just a ceremonial name and head of Al-Qaeda because after the killing of Osama bin Laden in Pakistan's Abbottabad in 2011, the group was effectively, inactive in Afghanistan, and they had no active role in the war in Afghanistan, and there was nothing much happening there. But Dr. Zawahiri kept on sharing his messages and ideas to his followers across the world from Afghanistan. There are some reports that he had gone somewhere else, leaving Afghanistan during the war, but my belief is that he continued to live in Afghanistan and in some areas where there was intense fighting going on for many years. As far as last year, he was in one of the provinces where there was active fighting going on. So that is Dr. Zawahiri's past. But since 2011, July, he was the head of Al-Qaeda. And Al-Qaeda was effectively inoperative in Afghanistan and elsewhere, I would say. So it was a ceremonial role. And it looks like Dr. Zawahiri, just like his predecessor, Osama bin Laden, was living a retired life, I would say, with his family in an unknown location, in an unknown house when he was targeted.
The timing of when this has been executed or carried out or announced, is there anything that we could read into it in terms of the fact that the US president has made this announcement at this particular time?
Well, there could be many things, but it could be one of the facts that President Biden would find it a strong election campaign for next time he runs in, that he eliminated Al-Qaeda's chief and effectively ended Al-Qaeda's role in Afghanistan. And also it means that the Afghan Taliban are now on the back foot since they had agreed to not hosting or harboring terrorists in Afghanistan. But Zawahiri's death in Kabul, in the heart of Afghanistan, in Afghanistan's capital city that is controlled by the Taliban, would raise serious questions about if the Taliban knew about his presence or not. And if they knew, it would mean that they have also violated the Doha Agreement. So I think it's a win-win situation at the moment for the Americans.
Yes. How has the Taliban reacted to this news?
Well, the Taliban have sort of gone quiet after, announcing initially that it was a drone attack on an empty house in the suburbs of Kabul, and that's it. Internally, there is shock. Some people, are in shock that how come Zawahiri was hiding in the city, and how come no one knew about it. Some of the Taliban have been criticizing their own government that on social media and elsewhere that they were unable to protect a mujahid, and others are criticizing them for supporting or hiding Al-Qaeda leader. So it's a strange reaction actually, and the problem is that there are serious questions about how did this happen, how did the attack happen, and how did Zawahiri end up in Kabul. And there would be questions from the Taliban intelligence that who, if there's any informers on ground, who could it be? If it is within the movement, or if it is someone outsider, if it is foreign agencies involved. All these questions will have to be answered by the Afghan Taliban.
Yes, certainly. We appreciate the update that you've shared with us, Brother Arshad. Jazakumullah khair for availing yourself.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Yes, so this is the information that is